Now, some people might suggest, of course, that here is some news that you won't be hearing on the infamous News at 10, the one that was hosted until, of course, about a year ago by this man. That's right, the BBC's highest paid newsreader, Hugh Edwards. Now it looks like, though, that you could be making the news yourself. Some suggest for all the wrong reasons. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today as ever on the back of another London bus as we dart around this wonderful capital city in the pursuit of all the latest stories that matter to you. It's lovely to share them with you. We'll have a quick wave. Are you all right? It's boiling on here. Yes, not much ventilation. I miss the original Route Masters. Do you remember with the open back doors? A lot more fun. You could leg on if you could make it, couldn't you? And leg off if you couldn't, you know what I mean? Now you're trapped, windowless. Oh, don't get me going. Yes, you're feeling the heat yourself, I can yes, I can tell. It's terrible, isn't it? Back as ever to your breaking story of the day. This came out the other day, basically citing that this man, Hugh Edwards, was the highest paid newsreader, even though he'd been off air for over a year. Now, the reason why he'd been off air was because he disgraced himself and the corporation, and of course was kind of in the end forced to step down. This was because he had an unbreakable contract, a lot of people felt, and it was going to cost a lot of money to sign him off. Naturally, Hugh's disgrace suddenly turned into some mental illness, and naturally, of course, this was played out in the tabloids. But what's interesting now, and this is proving rather difficult, is while he's been given a substantial amount, including a payoff, and Tim Davie, the Director General of the BBC, has basically said, well, that's what it is. This is what happens. This is how people are paid. A lot of people want greater transparency to look into that particular contract. How on earth can somebody be off air for a year and still pocket this money? Now, the problem is, and this is the bigger problem, is how much truly did the BBC know that was going on behind the scenes? Even I know what was going on behind the scenes long before it became public, all thanks to people that were working with Mr. Edwards literally on the ground in and around Westminster. It was a hot topic. Every single person knew. So suddenly the BBC, it's a bit like the Philip Schofield scandal. To claim you didn't know what was going on is utterly ridiculous. Now, of course, given the fact that they've lost over 500,000 people who are willing to spend money on their licence, you can understand the problems they've got. They've now got to look inwardly. But the bottom line is this: if they don't become transparent and show the great British public, the people that fund the BBC, exactly what's going on, then they're going to have a bigger problem. And this really could be the thing that breaks the BBC. Alongside the stars like Gary Lineker and Zoe Ball that pick up astronomical fees, we're told by the Director General, simply because he has to pay those fees in case they go anywhere else. Where are they going to go? And more importantly, why was you given such a huge salary to disappear when clearly he'd broken the guidelines of the BBC, disgraced himself, and whatever his mental problems are, that's surely not the problems of the great British public who have to pay for that privilege. It's getting worse, and it's only the start. Neil Sean in the very heart of London on the back of a London bus.